So today we're looking at cable that was made by Homer Laughlin. This is one of Homer Laughlin's oldest shapes, if not the oldest shape. It comes from the 1870s and was produced off and on into the 1940s and 1950s. So cable was named after the transatlantic cable communication wire that was put across the Atlantic Ocean. And pieces are going to be decorated with the little cable embossing that you could see here on this butter dish or on this sauce boat. Now, both European and American companies made cable, so it's not like it was just one pottery and then they all started copying each other. It seems like it was just a generic shape that everybody made. So we'll look real quick at a catalog page from 1914 that shows some of the cable pieces. We have a cable covered sugar. These are rather large. We have two of them to look at. Again, we see the cable wrapped around the finial, and then we see the cable on the handle. This one, let's see when it was made, comes from 1924, and the one in the back, which is undecorated, comes from 1917. We also have a cable brush face, rather nondescript. It just has a little foot on the bottom. The cable egg cup, which we'll look at real quick, because we'll probably do a video on cable egg cups by itself at one time in the future here, because it has this little collar in the middle, and that's really the only way you can tell the cable egg cup. This was a pickup piece for many years. This was made well into the 1950s. Another piece is this number 9, which is your molasses can, and I have one of those here. Unfortunately, I don't have the metal fitting the lid that goes on top. This one doesn't have a date code. It probably comes from around 1910. But again, you see your little cable embossing on the top of the handle. The cable butter dish, we looked at that real quick. And cable jug at the bottom. And there are several sizes of cable jugs, and we'll get to those in a minute. One thing about the design, it is simplified over time. So we have a cable gravy boat here. Now this has an older mark on it. Porcelain granite, Laughlin Brothers. So this is when both Homer and Shakespeare were involved in the company. So this dates to the 1870s. And the design has this cable going from the body all the way up and wrapping around the top. Well, what happens as time goes on is they start to simplify this so that all you really have is the wrap around the top and not down onto the body. This is a cable gravy from 1943, heavy hotel ware, and we see how the design, we still have the little wrap around the top, but on the side it is greatly reduced. So it's not nearly as nice as the one from the 1870s. And we see this again with the pitchers. We have an ewer here that would have been part of a toilet set, and we have the cable that's around the top. Now, I'm sure there would have been others where this would have just went down into the body on both sides. But again, they just simplified the design over time. Same is true with the jugs. I'm sure that this would have wrapped down into the body. So we'll look at these jugs real quick because we've got two in the back that were made and decorated at Homer Laughlin. This one was 1921. Has a black and yellow decal that you'd typically find on Quaker or Yellowstone. And then we have this one, which is a little bit larger. It was made in 1916. The ones in the front were made at Homer Laughlin in the 1940s, but they were decorated by an outside company. But we still see the little cable design around the tops. That's how we can identify those. Look at a marking real quick. Let's see, this one. Yeah, this is a good one. It's from 1946, and this was decorated by the Lenore Company out of Bristol, Tennessee. I did a little article for the HLCCA on Cumbo and Lenore that decorated Homer Laughlin wares in the 1940s, and all of these are Lenore that you see up front, these small jugs. Sometimes they would mark out Homer Laughlin's back stamp. Other times it really didn't matter. So this one's from 1946. The C42 you see handwritten there, that's Cable 42's jug. So they've got the trade sizes on here. Again, C42, the cable 42s with treatment 125 for them, 1946. Then we have some mugs here. These are being used as shaving mugs. I believe there were 3 cable mugs in total. Once again, we see the little cable embossing at the top. So these come from different years. This one, which is rather elaborate and personalized as a shaving mug, comes from 1929. The one with the roses in the back comes from 1915. These both come from 1920. Another personalized shaving mug using the cable shape. And then we have Tiny Todkins, popular pattern on the Genesee shape. And this one comes from 1915. So one last thing I want to show, because I'd mentioned that other potteries had done this. Here we have a cable teapot. So we have the typical embossed lid. And then again, we see the cable around the top, and then it extends down into the body of the ware. This one is made by Sebring Brothers of East Liverpool. We'll look at the marking real quick. Warranted stone china, Sebring Brothers and Company. And one more thing. We'll look at an Edwin M. Knowles china advertisement showing cableware. So if you didn't know this was Knowles, you might even think this is Homer Laughlin. We see a bunch of generic plates, platters, and bakers and nappies. But there's your cable butter, cable jugs, the cable sugar. So again, yeah, lots of people made this ware. It's easy to confuse one with the other unless you're looking at the markings. Your Homer Laughlin versions are almost always going to be marked. One last piece, I think we kind of skipped over this one, this individual sugar with its little cable on the handle, cable finial. This one is marked premium stone china. So this is 1880s. So a wide range of dates for cable. So I think that's going to be it. Next time we'll probably look at this cable leg cup some more, because this was a pickup piece for many, many years. All right, so that's all.